Hey guys, welcome to Brotherhood Forged.
I'm Joey, and hanging with me is my buddy Paul.
We're just two normal guys following Jesus and trying to lead our families well.
We started this to build a place for real talk, real growth, and real brotherhood.
If you're about faith, leadership, and showing up when it's tough, you're in the right spot. If you like what you hear, hit the share button or leave a review. It helps way more than you know.
Let's get into it. All right, next time on Brotherhood Forge, Paul's going to open up like never before. But before we dive deep into the episode titled Legacy, Loss, and the Man I Choose to Become, Paul and I sat down and we're going to ask him a few questions just to give you a little glimpse into what he's going to say on Wednesday. So, Paul, good evening, brother. Good to have you. I see you every week, several times a week.
It's good to be back.
Good to be back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're kind of goofy like that. We're going to talk about legacy in your full episode on Wednesday, but today I just want to talk a little bit about, legacy in this brotherhood and what does that mean to you?
I think I talked about this on Larry's podcast, and a lot of times I have a different perspective of it because I didn't have the same kind of life lessons that some guys had. I know Larry specifically are guys that had different examples of a father or different examples of parents. Like they're running from, I don't even want to say running. They're trying not to become what they saw. And that was the blueprint they had. It wasn't a blueprint of like what to do. It's a blueprint of what not to do. And I was very blessed that my parents, I mean, they're not perfect, right? Neither am I. None of us will be. But they kind of fixed a lot of stuff or got over a lot of stuff from their childhood. They didn't bring that into raising me. So I was kind of given this different foundation than a lot of guys are. So legacy to me is taking the foundation that my parents gave me and really building off of that. Like my dad's dad, I talked about him before. It wasn't the greatest example of a father, but my dad didn't bring that into raising me. He gave me a better foundation. My mom's dad beat him. He didn't bring that into raising her. And certainly she didn't bring that into raising me. So again, it's like they gave me such a good foundation. So I feel like it's the legacy and the responsibility that I have is to build off that, to take what they gave me and run with it. Like it'd be a huge disservice for me to take the foundation that they gave me and crumble it, because I've been given such a lucky break. I would say it was something most guys didn't get, or not, maybe not most, but some guys didn't get right, and I did. So taking all the stuff throughout life, building off of that, there's certain things we'll talk about here: loss, shame, disconnection, any kind of things like that. It's building it all together and really thinking about, as I go through life, am I becoming the man that I want to be to honor the foundation they've given me, or to honor the chance that they've given me, instead of just drifting through life too. It's like that can happen. It always happens to all of us, but it's like, am I going where I want to go to honor the people and honor myself and now my children and my wife?
That's really good. Probably have a little bit different stories. Of course, my dad definitely made some and left me with some great examples, but I can honestly say I probably learned more. I'm not speaking of my parents, just in general, watching both friends and family choose the other path, right? The path that I learned that I don't want to go down. And for me, legacy is how I want to be remembered and what I might have left others to think about long after I'm gone. Whether that be, hopefully that's first and foremost would be my faith, which I talk about all the time, but just that I was a man of integrity, and especially to leave that for my son, which he is to me a man of integrity. But I also want him to see the way I lived my life was true, was honest, and I was who I am and not influenced by worldly things that are so easy to fall into.
I'm glad you brought your son up too, because I think that's another definition of it. Legacy to me and to you is what's the story your kids are going to tell about you? Because we're not always going to be here forever. Hopefully our kids long outlive us. I mean, I understand there's tragedies that happen and no parent ever wants to go through that, but I hope my kids long outlive me and I left such an impact on them that they pass that down, or that they tell that story when they're with other family members or whatever it is. It's like, because they're going to figure you out one day or another. They're going to find out who you were, if you were a man of integrity or a woman of integrity. For Amber and for the women listening, like, your kids are going to figure you out. How do you want that story to go? Because there's going to be a story. To me, it's a choice. You have a choice to make every single day for the story that they're going to tell about you.
Absolutely, we do. Speaking of kids, so we're just going to kind of rush through a little bit of this. This is just the kind of a teaser. When you found out, hey, Paul, you're going to be a daddy, what went through your mind?
I'll never forget. I was sitting. It was my grandma's house that Amber and I were renting at the time, and I'll never forget. It's a smaller house. My dad actually grew up in it, but I was in the kitchen. She was in the bathroom. I knew what she was doing. She was in there taking the test, right? And she was super anxious, super worried about it. But I was just kind of prepping myself as I waited for the results, and I felt this like sense of calm or like sense of like purpose. Like it was almost like I was more excited and hopeful that she came back to say it was positive than the opposite, because I was like, you know what, dude, that could be like this defining moment for me. Like I was 24, so I'm at a pretty pivotal age to become a parent. And I was just like, this could really be like that next step for me, that purpose. And it's like I knew that we were gonna figure this out together because we had already had such strong like teamwork at that point. So I'm like, you know what, it's gonna be what it is. And we'll talk more about it in the story. We kind of led up to it, but I just felt like this drive to be like, you know what, I really hope this is positive because I know we're gonna figure this out together. And it just gave me that kind of compass of like, if I'm gonna be a dad, I'm gonna be the best dad I can be. And it's just a matter of I don't know how to get there, but I'm gonna figure it out. So I was really excited, and I was more excited than anything. She was nervous, but it was like I think my calm excitement kind of quieted down some of her nervousness.
That's amazing, Paul. I remember ours too. And when I found out, I'm like, we were married. No bash on you whatsoever. We
Right.
lived together before we were married, but it is we happened to be married. I remember my excitement, my terror, just scared to death. I thought of, what an opportunity to make a difference. Not everyone takes that approach. Even when I didn't know I had a positive mindset, I was working on it.
Dude, you're right. I think a lot of that had to do with her nervousness, is that we weren't married yet. And that was something that was frowned upon in certain religions or certain family members. Like that wasn't something you did. But to me, it was like I didn't need that ring to commit myself to her and to our future child and our future family. Like I knew that was like that was enough right there for me. I was already committed, but it was like if we're gonna have a kid, then this is just the extra reassurance. It's like I don't need society's permission, or I don't need a ring to stay committed to you and our family. It's like I just completely stepped into that role, and that was one of the first times I really kind of like, well, I don't know if it was one of the first times, but one of the really like solid times that I was like, I don't care what society says, man. Like obviously I got tattoos on me and stuff, so it's like I just didn't care. I knew that that felt so right for me that it was like, I don't need a ring. I don't need a piece of paper. I'm committed to you. I'm committed to our family. And it just felt really good to step into that.
We need more dads in this world with that outlook. Says a lot about the man you are. Jumping ahead a little bit, you're sitting across from a guy who he just feels lost.
Mhm.
He doesn't know where to start, which we do see this sometimes right on our calls. What
Yep.
would you say to him right now, seeing where you're at today at this moment?
I just had a couple reach out this week, actually, man. It's one of those things that you're not broken, right? You're being built. And just because you're in a certain spot where you don't feel like things are going the right way, that's probably good because those might be things that you don't want to keep doing anyway. So if they're not right, then it's a matter of it's an opportunity of, okay, now let's figure out what I should be doing, what I should step into. Just because this didn't work doesn't mean it defines you. It's just an opportunity for you to course correct. And it's painful and it can be really hard, but it's still an opportunity. So look at it as that opportunity. Put yourself around the right people, find the right community, find the right groups, dig into your faith and really say, okay, here's a line in the sand moment. This isn't working. What am I going to do? Who am I going to be around to get me to who I need to become to get past this so I don't feel this way again? But the other part is we've all felt that way. I'll talk about my story. There's times where I felt pretty lost. It's some pretty dark places. But if you're around the right people with the right mindset, it doesn't make it easier, but it makes it more doable.
Absolutely makes it more doable. I would have to, in a way, disagree because I think it does make it easier
Well, but it's
when you
still
have
hard
that
work.
support. Yeah, it's still very
Yeah.
hard work, right? But it does. I don't know if it's easier. Maybe it's a little less painful when you have those guys you can lean in on.
Yeah.
And I also I got a call from a guy this week who just made a huge screw up, but he owned it. He owned it right away, and I'm like, you know what? You can bounce back from this.
Yeah.
But he has that community that he can lean into. So it's really how you look at it and the approach you take. Are you going to let it defeat you? Or are you gonna move past it? So we were talking a little bit about influences right there. If you could just kind of give me a glimpse into some of the influences that are just part of who you are today?
I mean, obviously, we talked about this several times, and I'll always talk about it. Amber's impact and role that she's had on me is that just continues to help me step into the best version of myself because I know that I have her by my side, supporting me, encouraging me, and just fully trusting me and trusting the direction that we're going together. Obviously, my parents were huge. They've always loved and encouraged me. I learned a lot from my dad. The work ethic, man. He didn't come from like they weren't like not well off or anything, but like they had to work very hard for what they had. And actually, a side note stories, my dad had the opportunity to go play college baseball, and his dad, I just found out about this part of it. His dad told him he was going to help him pay for it. And it's like, man, it's one of those things to me. It's like I couldn't imagine doing that, but they could have been a different situation, right? They might not have been able to. So,
Right.
but the work ethic I got from my dad was incredible, and then the encouragement, the love I got from my mom was incredible. And then building people around me that even if you don't have access to it, guys like Corey Gregory, David Goggins. I mean, that's an incredible book we talked about before. And Larry, like we're not proximity wise close to Larry, but we can be basically based off the internet. A couple coaches, man, Navarre, Noah Green, Coach Tony Anise, like there's some guys that have really had a really big impact on me. And I think that's one of the biggest things you can take that kids or anybody can take away from this. Put yourself around the right people and listen to them. If you're not around the right people, don't listen to them. Advice is something, it's like a free sampler at Costco. Everyone's going to give you advice. It doesn't mean you got to take it. You can throw that away. You can take it if you like it. You can take another sample if you like it, but you don't have to take all of it. Pick and choose and be more selective. And that's one thing I wish that I knew earlier on is that just because someone says something to you doesn't mean you have to take it or believe it. You still get a choice, even though they say it, to decide where it goes.
So many places, so many people can influence us, right? Like you said, your parents, your wife, and my wife's a huge influence on me as well. What a blessing that is to have a spouse that can support you and you can allow her or him, whoever the case may be, to influence you in that way. And like you mentioned, they don't have to be people that are neighbors or that you even have direct access to. You mentioned David Goggins, you mentioned Larry, and some other people that you've never even met face to face, but they've had a huge impact on you. For me, John Maxwell, I read his books because I'm like my passion really is to be a better connector, a better communicator. Those are huge for me. Les Brown, guy who went from being labeled retarded to being one of the biggest speakers to ever hit the planet. I just listened to one of his books today. And what you said about surrounding yourself with those people, not the virtual people, but who you're around, and what you listen to, what you watch, what you read is crucial. And I'd say some of the biggest influences on me are like you. They're authors, they're speakers. And you mentioned, don't take advice from everyone. Even those books that I like to read and you like to read, I might get one great idea out of a whole book. That makes it worth it to me.
Yeah, I think the last kind of piece of this, and we'll talk about this more in the excuse me in the main interview, is your community too. It's like one of those things where if you're doing certain things, you'll attract certain people. If you want to get into a different group, start doing the stuff that group does. So or like for our example is I've always wanted a close connection to like a brother. I've always wanted that close, tight knit. So what better way to get that than to start it? So here we are. The impact that you've had on me is huge. And now look at the community that we've built together, the lessons that we go through together, the life skills that we go through together. It's like that's a brotherhood right there. It's like just because you don't have it doesn't mean you can't create it. But start doing the things that you want to do that you see people do, you want more of. Do those things, then you'll attract those people. Don't do the things that you're trying to get away from because you'll attract the people that you already have. So it's, I don't know, a lot about mindset and choice and just do it. Like Nike, right? Just become
Just
it.
do
Just
it.
find out what direction you're going. If it's not the right direction, course correct, and then get yourself there.
Yeah, because it is up to you. This happened because we're doing it, putting in the work. And I've grown more probably in the past 3 months since we started doing this than I've grown in the last 55 years. And I mean that as a person, as a man, and continue to grow.
Huge.
Well, that's just the beginning, guys. In the next episode, Paul's going to walk us through legacy, loss, fatherhood, and what it means to lead before you're ready. You don't want to miss it. So we'll see you on Wednesday. We thank you for being here today. And that's all we got.
Thanks, guys. See you then. Thanks for listening today. We don't take that for granted.
Your support matters. You're part of something much bigger, and we're thankful you're on this journey with us.
Stay strong, stay intentional, and know you're not walking this alone.
If this challenged you, please share the impact. Growth is better together.
We'll see you next time on Brotherhood Forged.